server.
Mühimmat. Aha orada.
Hi guys, this is Mattias coming at you here with a video where I want to focus on the smoke grenade. I use it consistently. You've probably seen it quite a lot if you've been following my channels. But as some of you guys probably have noticed, especially if you've tried using smoke to your advantage yourself, is that there's a big difference between benefiting and really taking advantage of the smoke grenade and just throwing a couple of smokes here and there. One of the biggest advantages that I see from using smoke is that many times it allows me to take control over when and where I take the engagement. That doesn't mean that the engagement itself will favor you once you're in it. That part is for the most part up to you, your skill and your situational awareness. But for me, it just seems to minimize the amount of times I just randomly get killed from something I just couldn't foresee. Now in this case, you can clearly see that I'm attacking the D flag and it's full of enemies. And keeping the smoke between me and them allows me to sometimes pick off one or two guys at the D flag, but when I don't want to fight the people that are actually at the D flag, instead want to focus on defending myself against the ones who are trying to attack me back, I can focus on these CQC situations without also being hit by these people at the capture point. Now you want to keep this in mind. The smoke grenade is not a magical tool that's going to make you automatically dominate every match in the battlefield. If you normally get around 30, maybe even 40 kills in a round, you're not gonna instantly just go to 60 or 70 kills in a round just because you're using smoke. It serves only one purpose, and that is to block the view for your enemies, which automatically means that it blocks the view for you and your teammates as well. You need to be able to benefit from that. Now the most obvious uses is when you are trying to move from one area to another and the area that you're running through is relatively open with little to no cover. That's the most obvious aggressive use. Now the most obvious defensive use, however, is when you, after taking damage or when you need to reload, stay hidden in the smoke so that you can heal up or reload. This is the situation where you just don't want anybody to see you, while at the same time it doesn't really matter if you can see anybody else because you don't want to take an engagement in this specific moment. We're actually coming up now on a pretty good defensive smoke situation after I took 75 damage from that engagement and an additional 24 damage from an explosion, taking me down to 1 hit point. Now notice the guy running past me, right here. Oh, he didn't see me! Yeah, you gotta remember that a situation like that can just as well work against you. It might be you who doesn't see the enemy, while they for whatever reason are able to spot you. And what is also important to understand is that while moving in and out from smoke, while you're inside of the smoke next to one of the grenades, you're not necessarily completely invisible. For obvious reasons, when you are at the edge of the smoke screen, you're going to be quite visible from the direction where you have the least amount of smoke. Let's say you have most of the smoke behind you, people in front of you are going to see you just as well as you're going to be able to see them. But you want to make sure that this happens when you want to take the fight and not when you are in a disadvantage. Aside from just running through the smoke or sitting in it, if you come to an area of the map where it's very likely that you're going to be engaged from multiple angles, then what you want to do is use smoke to minimize the amount of different directions where you can take damage from. For example, let's say you're coming out of a choke point or crossing a relatively open area, and it's very likely that people might shoot you from the left side, but you want to keep your focus on the right side. Then you can just make sure that you are on the right side of the smoke screen, and then hopefully people are not going to be able to shoot you from the back or the side. In many situations, it's basically allowing you to flank without being flanked yourself. No. Now here's another quite interesting situation that I want to share with you, and try to imagine this. What would be the outcome of this engagement if I would have reloaded my gun before I went out from the B flag?
Патроны, налетай!
We are winning.
There was no point to reload there. I just went... oh, I got 1 kill with a pistol. Next up here, a little bit unrelated to the topic of this video, but I want to show this anyway. We're on Achibaba, and this is the beginning of the round, and my idea here is that I really wanted to get a few kills with the infiltrator, but obviously I'm not the only one in my team who wants that. Notice how I think it's at least 2 guys just basically camping the spawn point, not at all trying to engage the enemies. Now don't get me wrong, I'm also here for the same reason, but at least I'm suppressing, killing and damaging at least some of the enemies while doing so. The funny thing about this situation is how it turns out. While these guys are just sitting here waiting for the infiltrator kit, our enemies are getting closer and closer. They're killing us off, starting with Mir there. And eventually they kill the other 2 guys off and picked up the infiltrator kit, which is now in the hands of the enemy. Now, to be fair, this was a losing match, and it wouldn't have made much difference if we actually did pick up that elite class. So yeah, to sum up some of the things in this video, keep in mind, smoke doesn't make you completely invisible, especially not if you're in the middle of it. The only way that you can make sure that the enemy can't see you is that you and the enemy is on opposite sides of the smoke. Use it to decide when and where you engage the enemies, but not as a substitute for skill and situational awareness. Fact is, situational awareness gets even more important with smoke if you have good map awareness, if you have good understanding of the game flow, if you have good understanding of what is likely that your opponent is going to do in this specific situation. That's when you can benefit from smoke. Smoke is not in any way a substitute from all the other important factors in order to make you a good first-person shooter. However, it can really help you excel even more in those situations where you already are good. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed the video, I hope it was helpful, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. My name is Mattias, and I want to thank you all for watching. This is gonna be tough to carry. This is gonna be tough. So desperate for a new game. Yeah. Is it released today or?
We have taken objective.
Take the ammo.
Halfway there. The enemy.
Smoke out. Mind your head. Heads up. Smoke going.
We have lost objective Charlie.
Someone fix my wounds.
Lost objective A.
There's ammo. Ammo. Pick it up. This smoke grenades for them.
I'm wondering about console if the whole thing about not being able to use mouse and keyboard there is actually helping them sell or stopping them from selling. Because I mean, all the people that play on PC that doesn't play on console that's the reason. I'm in a good flanking position here, I think. I hope it's gonna continue.
Throwing smoke grenades. Slinging a smoke grenade.
Have to get... Oh, there's a guy. Holy shit, there's a lot of people here. Oh. Alright, that's how you use smoke.
Grab that ammunition. There, ammunition. Here's some smoke. Ammo, ammo, get some. Take that ammo.
There is a lag that doesn't allow you to shoot in a while. Prevents you from shooting.
Tossing smoke grenade. Go down the garage. Here's some ammo. That's ammo for you.
Service store, my friends. Service store.
Tossing smoke.
Gotta get away from my bunker, I think. I've been there too long.
They've got smoke going out. Some ammo for you.
We have lost
Whoa.
objective apples. Halfway there, we have the apples.
Look out, be ready.